Okay, it's time for our science fiction segment with Brandon Ellis. And Brandon is going to be joined in this segment by another Star Trek fanatic, Michael Calbera. So let's give it up for Brandon and Michael for a little Star Trek action. Take it away, Brandon. And Michael.
Thank you very much. All right, welcome to Stargazer, where we gaze to the stars and look at science fiction as a whole and how it relates to us here on planet Earth. Now, today I get to nerd out a bit. I've been wearing this Star Trek hat for I don't know how long, and I've never talked about Star Trek once, but finally, this show, we talk about Star Trek. And today I'm joined by a special guest. Michael, how are you doing today?
Good, yourself?
So good. I'm talking about Star Trek, baby. I'm going to be good. But I'm not talking about any Star Trek. I'm talking about the best Star Trek there is, and that is Star Trek The Next Generation, the show that came out from 1987 to 1994, spanned 4 movies, and has inspired countless other nerds. Like you and me, my friend.
Exactly.
So,
it even inspired my high school valedictorian to write a speech based on Star Trek, which was the most boring thing that I've ever heard. But I digress. So go ahead, Brandon.
Boring. I think there's maybe a negative stigma saying that Star Trek could be boring, but in fact it could be the most interesting and heartwarming thing ever. And the reason why I bring up the word heartwarming is I want to tell you that The Next Generation is the cure for a broken heart. That's our segment today. We're talking about how Star Trek could really cure that sadness that's lingering in all of us. This world, I'm gonna be blunt. It could be cold, it could be hard, but the things that you get from Star Trek: The Next Generation is so impactful. It's just insane. So here's an interesting thing. Patrick Stewart has said this. He's the main actor in Star Trek: The Next Generation. He plays Captain Picard, the captain, like the Captain Kirk equivalent of Star Trek: The Next Generation. So he had this to say, something so impactful about Star Trek. He had a fan letter from a police officer, and he said, Patrick Stewart, I love my job as an officer, I love what I do, but the things I see on a daily basis could be so hard, so depressing as a cop. And you know what he did to feel a little bit better, Mike?
Watch Star Trek.
He took a tape of Star Trek: The Next Generation and cracked it on at the end of a hard day, and he felt all better.
Yep, TV and whatever form of entertainment helps us escape. For me, Star Trek was part of my toy department and part of my way to befriend my high school valedictorian, because not many people would befriend her because she just kept to herself, because that's just how she was. So I learned about the characters. I started watching the show a little bit. You said Patrick Stewart. Jean-Luc Picard was the character that got me into the show, because he made all the decisions based on it, and I thought his acting was awesome. And got into the franchise more because of Next Generation than any of the previous Leonard Nimoy driven Star Trek, Spock driven Star Trek films and stuff. So, and then my friend Krista Janik is also a big Trekkie, and she's gotten me even further into the franchise. So whatever entertains us, whether it's Star Trek or sports, it's America's toy department, Long Island's toy department. So entertainment's important for us to escape.
Exactly. In regards to Star Trek: The Next Generation compared to the beloved 60s Star Trek, I would say that the original 60s Star Trek was a bit more physiological, more mental. It got you thinking about things. Next Generation did the same thing and more. It really tugged on the heartstrings. And the thing that makes Star Trek so impactful is it shows a perfect world, something that we could strive for. Maybe not be necessarily realistic in concept, but it's something that we could strive for, where people of all races, of all creeds, even aliens have come together in a united federation for the betterment of not only mankind, but humanoid kind as they know it, to explore and seek out new life and just make things better for everyone. It's a show about equality and unity and actually love, and it's something we don't really see much in television, really, before or after it too much.
And they fit everything into 60-minute episodes.
Exactly. There's not too many two-parters too much. There are a few, but like for the most part, you can get a whole dramatic, heartwarming message in the span of 1 hour-long episode. I actually showed a friend of mine who knew nothing about Star Trek one episode to see if I would get her hooked. Just one episode. She knew nothing. She probably compared it to Star Wars, that fool. But she saw it and she was hooked. It changed her. There's some episodes that will get you thinking, some that will make you want to smile at the end, some that will even want to make you cry a little bit. But it's mostly tears of joy. It's a show that plays on your pathos, your logos, and your ethos.
And the character development was awesome.
The characters were like nothing else. With the original series, you got the main three that know and love. You got Kirk, you got Spock, and you got McCoy. And you got like Sulu and Uhura, but they were more minor.
Yep.
It was mostly the Captain Kirk show, the William Shatner show. As much as we love him, but the series really talked about all the characters, and each character had something important to contribute. Their differences were important, and their ability to interact with each other was important. And through that character development, it actually got those gears turning in the head and got people thinking about a lot of different concepts that we'll get into later Stargazer segments. I don't want to make this too long-winded, but this is pretty much an advertisement for Next Generation. If you're having a bad day, and I've had plenty, I have to recommend, put on any episode of Next Generation. You don't have to look up what the episode is, just put on anything. It's gonna change you, I'm serious.
Hulu and Netflix binge watchers take his advice, because I spent many a Saturday afternoon bored when I turned on Star Trek Next Generation. I wasn't so bored.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Michael. So thank you so much for being on Stargazer. It was an honor.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Great job, Brandon and Michael.